We've got a big week coming for SoFi stock as they're about to report their Q2 2025 earnings on Tuesday, July 29th, before the market opens. SoFi has seen tremendous momentum lately on the back of many innovations they've announced. We got blockchain-enabled international money transfers. We got SoFi stablecoins. We got a consumer-facing crypto platform. We got an expansion of their private equity offerings. We got a new IPO listed on the SoFi platform. And they just signed a major deal to expand their SoFi at Work offering and get even more eyes on SoFi. The excitement around these innovations, as well as their continually strengthening fundamentals, has led to insane stock price growth recently. Over the past 6 months, up about 32%. Year to date, they're up over 50%, and in the past 12 months, the stock is up 189%. And just from the lows in the April crash a few months back, which is the last time I bought new shares of SoFi, the stock is up 121%. So we're going to talk in this video about what we need to see in the Q2 earnings report in order to keep this momentum going. And I'm going to share a perspective around SoFi stock, especially for someone who wants to hold the stock for the long term. That is very different than what most people are going to tell you about SoFi stock. And this video will be valuable for all shareholders, but it'll be especially valuable for anyone who's gotten in SoFi over the past 12 months or so. I'm excited to get into this video, but first, if you're not subscribed, go ahead and click that subscribe button. Help us get to our short-term goal of hitting 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year. We're somewhere around 8,700 right now. So click that subscribe button. It really helps out the channel. All right, let's jump into the video. So what do I expect from SoFi's earnings in Q2? I have come to expect over the past many years, by the way, SoFi is my second largest holding. I've been holding the stock for many years. I've been through many earnings cycles with SoFi. I've seen tons of ups and downs, but it's been a tremendous gainer for us over the past few years. So what I've come to expect over the past many years, that SoFi is going to have an amazing quarter. They're not only going to beat on revenue, but they're also going to beat on EPS. And there's a high percentage chance that they actually raise their fiscal 25 guidance as well. It's probably going to be a triple beat based on everything I'm seeing in the business and based on past quarters over the past many years that I've been holding SoFi stock. Analyst consensus estimates are for GAAP EPS of 6 cents per share and revenue to be $804.36 million. That will be a record revenue number for SoFi. That'll be the highest revenue they've ever reported in a single quarter. That said, I think they're going to beat that. I think they'll come in closer to $810 or $815 million. Either of those beats I'll be very happy with. Even if they just come in line, roughly $805 million, I'll be a happy shareholder. On the EPS side, they have a history of beating numbers there as well. Over the past 4 quarters, check out the beats that they've had. Q2 2024, the consensus was for 0 cents of EPS. They actually reported 1 cent of EPS. Q3 of 2024, the consensus was for 4 cents of EPS. They actually reported 5 cents of EPS. Q4 of 2024, the consensus was for roughly 4 cents of EPS. They reported 29 cents of EPS. And in Q1 of 2025, consensus was about 3 cents of EPS, and they reported 6 cents of EPS. So now the consensus for this quarter is roughly 6 cents per share. All signs point to them beating that by at least 1 cent per share, up to 7 cents a share of EPS or higher than that. I would not be surprised if we see an 8 or 9 cent EPS number this quarter in Q2. But even if they don't beat expectations and they just hit that 6 cent EPS in Q2, that'll still be a 500% increase year over year. I expect financial services revenue growth of more than 60%, with the fee-based revenue being well over 100% year over year. And I expect their profit margin on the financial services side to eclipse 50% contribution margin. On the tech platform side, this has been the lowest growth segment of the business. They only grew revenues by 10% year over year in Q1 of 2025. I would be a happy shareholder on the tech platform side if they get into the teens in terms of revenue growth. Also, I want to see their expenses on the tech platform side rising at a slower rate than the revenue. In Q1 of 2025, we actually had expenses rise faster than revenue, which made their contribution margin on the tech platform side drop by 300 basis points, which was 3%, from 33% a year ago to 30% in Q1 of 2025. We don't want margin contraction with a growth stock like SoFi. We always want margin expansion. On the lending side, I'd be happy with anywhere between a 17 and a 23% growth number. We know that lending's not going to be insanely strong right now. We're still in a somewhat high rate environment time. We'll have rate cuts coming. That'll help the lending revenue get in a much better spot over the next few quarters. But as long as they can stay in the high teens or low 20s on revenue growth for lending, I'm a happy camper there. Great fundamentals like we expect SoFi to report in Q2, that's what's going to keep the stock moving upward over the long term, which is what I care about way more than the short term. But I know a lot of people watching this video are going to want SoFi to continue to rip higher over the next few months. In order for that to happen, not only do we need great fundamentals and beats on revenue, beats on EPS, and probably a guidance raise, but we also need some kind of an announcement to keep the short-term excitement. So either another innovation announced or a big-time deal that they sign in one or more of their business segments. So what do I think SoFi's stock price is going to do after this Q2 earnings report? As a SoFi shareholder over the past many years, I have come to the conclusion that it's best for me to have no opinions at all of where SoFi's stock price goes after earnings. I've seen the company report record revenue, record EPS, guidance raises, new innovations, and the stock has still dropped after earnings. And on the other side, we've seen some good quarters, but they weren't like amazing quarters, and the stock price ripped higher by like 20% over the next week. This is definitely one of the most unpredictable stocks in terms of price movement after earnings. So I have no idea what SoFi is going to do in terms of the stock price, but I can tell you this. It is possible that even if they report a perfect quarter, the stock could drop. I have seen it before with SoFi, and I would not be surprised if it happens again. But in that scenario, if you're buying SoFi shares and you want to hold the stock for the next few years, if you were excited to buy SoFi at $20 or $21 or $22 and the stock drops after earnings, let's just say hypothetically that the stock drops to $18 or $17 or $16, even though they had a perfect earnings, if the underlying fundamentals are strengthening, but the stock price is dropping, that is the perfect scenario for a long-term investor. You can pick up more shares at a cheaper price and get more value for your dollar for SoFi while their fundamentals are strengthening, while their fundamentals are stronger than they've ever been in the past. That's the dream scenario for a long-term investor. That's where the real money is made. When the stock price is dropping, but the fundamentals are strengthening, it's only going to be dropping for so long before the market agrees that they should respect this stock. They're just going to keep stringing together quarter after quarter after quarter of revenue beat, of EPS beat, of raising guidance, of coming out with new innovations of their platform. This management team puts this company in the best possible position every single quarter to capitalize in any environment. They have shifted so many times over the past 5 years, and through those shifts, they've still been able to grow at 20%, 30%, 40%, or 50% over the past few years. Now they have successfully flipped to consistent profitability even through a high rate environment time, and they're expected to grow their EPS by 500% year over year. And even with all the stock price growth we've seen, we're still able to get this stock at a forward PEG ratio below 1 at a 0.95. That's more than a 40% discount from the average stock in the S&P 500 right now. Let me know what you think this Q2 report's going to look like for SoFi in the comment section below. Are you still picking up new shares, or are you just holding what you have, or are you trimming your position right now? Let me know what your plan is with SoFi and how you think this Q2 report's going to go. I will be posting an earnings recap. It'll probably come out on Tuesday night after they report their earnings, so make sure you subscribe to check that video out as well. I appreciate you being here in a major way. Thank you so much. Have a great night.